Hey everyone, it's Mark Ferguson with Investor More. Today I'm going to talk about who to listen to when you're thinking about investing in real estate, flipping houses, buying rental properties. There's so many naysayers out there, so many people who tell you what to do when they really have no idea what they're talking about. So I'm going to go over that, kind of my experiences when I first got started investing, and give you all kinds of tidbits on how to be successful and not let people get you down. So of course, make sure you check out investormore.com. Have many more articles, videos, some of my old podcasts on there if you're interested in being an agent, a flipper, rental property owner, all that good stuff. All right, so I first got started in real estate back in 2001, 2002, right after I graduated from college. My dad was an agent, and I wanted something to do before I found my real job, and I worked for him part-time. 15, 16, 17 years later, here I am still in real estate. I'm really glad I got involved in it. Obviously, it's been, very successful venture for me. I started out as an agent, but my dad flipped houses once in a while, so we did that. As I was flipping houses, there are always people kind of asking us, why are you flipping houses? It's so risky. Even other agents, people in the business would ask us that. Even though they'd never flipped a house, they didn't know what was involved, they didn't know how much money we made, they just assumed it was a bad business to be in because of all the things they'd heard at that time. And this was back before the housing crash. It wasn't really popular to flip houses at that time. A lot of people didn't even know what it meant. And they just didn't understand how it worked. And we kind of just had to shield ourselves from that outside talk and realize, hey, we've got a really good business. We're making good money. It's a ton of fun. Why would we listen to these other people who have no idea what they're talking about? And that continued through the years. I was an REO agent for a while selling HUD homes, REO properties for banks, and made really good money doing that. And there's another REO agent in my office who had done it for many, many years, longer than I had. And he asked us, why are you guys flipping houses when you're selling so many REOs? And my answer was, well, it's fun. We make a lot of money on each deal. And why not do it? And he said, oh, you make so much more money doing REOs, just do those. Well, yeah, we'd made good money on REOs, but then the foreclosures pretty much disappeared in Colorado. And because we were flipping and diversified and doing other things, I switched most of my resources into flipping instead of selling REO properties and was making actually more money doing that. And it was more fun, less stress. I didn't have banks telling me what to do. There weren't deadlines I had to reach 24 hours, 48 hours every time I got a listing. It was a lot less stressful. And when that happened, he didn't switch to flipping houses. He laid off most of his staff and people who worked with him and kind of became a regular agent. So you don't always listen to people who may not know what they're talking about. And the same thing happened with rental properties with me. Around 2008, I really decided I wanted to buy rental properties. I wanted to invest in rentals because of the cash flow, just the returns they brought you, the tax advantages, so many reasons why I wanted to buy rental properties. I talked to so many different agents, even agents who had owned rental properties before, and probably 90% of them told me investing in rentals was a bad idea. I would lose money. It'd be a horrible investment. Anybody who invests in rentals realizes really fast why most people don't invest in rentals. And it can be really easy to listen to those people, but you have to look at who those people are and what they have done with their investing. I was listening to real estate agents, mostly who had never invested in a rental property in their life. They just heard stories. They'd heard other people losing money, friends and family, things like that. Other people, even friends and family of my own said rental properties weren't that great of an investment either. And I really had to delve into that deeper and look at why they would say that. And even looking at some of the agents and people who had owned rental properties and told me it's a bad investment, look at why they were saying it. And what you find is that most people who were buying rentals back then, this was before, the internet was such a huge thing. There were so many forums, so many websites on real estate investing. I never even went to any websites really to research investment properties. I was reading books. And what I found out was so many of those people had no idea how to invest in rentals. It's kind of like, hey, we'll just go buy a property for full retail value. We'll probably lose money every month because it rents for so much less than what it's worth. And we'll just hope it goes up in value over time. And that's a really bad way to invest in rentals. And it was no reason those people were losing money and did not like to invest in rental properties, because they didn't put any effort into it. They didn't put any research into it. And they really didn't know what they're doing. They're just buying properties and just hoping somehow it would work out. And I saw some of these agents who'd lost foreclosures during the housing crisis, who said rentals were such a bad idea. It's just a horrible thing to do. And they did the same thing. It's kind of like before the housing crash, they just bought a property. It didn't cash flow. It didn't make enough money. And they just hoped to just keep going up in value. And again, that's great if it keeps going up in value. But even if it does keep going up in value, you have to sell it to actually get that money back out of it or refinance it. And you're still losing money every month. So I realized that these people did not know anything about rental property investing, or at least the right way to invest in rentals. Why in the world should I listen to them when they don't know what I'm doing? They don't really know my strategies, and they don't know the right way to do it. And that can happen with friends and family too. Same thing. You know, if you start talking about real estate and rental properties, just about everybody out there has a brother, sister, uncle, father, aunt, distant cousin out there will tell you, oh, don't ever buy rental properties. You're just going to lose so much money. My cousin did that and they went bankrupt. They lost all this money from rentals, and it can really scare people. But first you have to look at, hey, if their cousin bought the property, this person probably has no idea on the details and what happened. There's a really good chance that person didn't know what they're doing when they bought a rental property. And for all you know, it was a house they lived in. They couldn't sell it. They turned it into a rental property, tried to manage it themselves. And it was a nightmare because, again, they had no idea what they're doing. So if you're going to listen to people who want to tell you how to invest your money, how to be successful in life, look at how successful they are. If someone's telling you should never buy real estate because it's such a horrible investment, and they're living paycheck to paycheck, spending all their money, have no investments, is that the right person you want to listen to? Or do you want to listen to somebody who's actually bought a bunch of rental properties? Not just me, but someone locally, someone in your area, someone else online who can tell you, hey, this is the way you buy properties. This is what makes a good investment. Kind of do what I do or someone else does, and you'll make money. And they've shown you how to do it. They've done it themselves, and they've been successful. I mean, there's thousands of people out there who've become millionaires from real estate because they did it the right way. They invested before, during, after the crash. They didn't go bankrupt, and they're just fine. I have an article on my site that talks about how many investors went bankrupt during the housing crisis. I mean, this was the worst housing crisis the U.S. has pretty much ever seen. 40% drop in values from the very peak to the very bottom across the nation. And so many people assume every investor just lost their shirt and went bankrupt. I think the statistics I found were about 7% of investment properties went into foreclosure. 7%. And that means, that includes investors who had multiple properties. So there were a lot less actual investors who lost houses to foreclosure from, I think it was loans that were taken out from like 2003 to 2007. So you're buying at the very peak, some of the worst loans you could possibly get with very little money down, sometimes no money down investor loans. And less than 7% of those investors lost their house to foreclosure in the worst housing crash ever, getting the worst loans ever. It really wasn't that bad. The news will make you think it was really bad. A lot of people trying to sell you programs about how they went bankrupt and found some new great way to invest will make you think, it was horrible, but it really wasn't that bad for a lot of people. So go talk to the people who had rentals, survived the crash, made it out. Maybe they bought more, or they retired off them, who knows, and find those people who are successful and listen to them. Listen to the people who have done well with rental properties, figure out the way to do it. Or if they figured out how to flip houses, we flipped before, during, and after the crash as well. We didn't go bankrupt. I've flipped over 155 houses now. I think the exact number is 156. And I think we've lost money on 3 or 4 houses that entire time. And it's not fun to lose money, but it just shows that, hey, it's not this crazy, volatile, unpredictable, investment. It can be extremely solid, extremely sound, if done the right way. The trick is you have to do it the right way. You have to take your time to get good deals, make sure property's cash flow, make sure you have enough profit margin. And a lot of people won't take the time to learn how to do that or find those deals. So going back to our main point about who do you listen to, Don't pay attention to the naysayers who've never invested. Don't pay attention to your cousins, brothers, aunt who lost money on a rental property one time when they had no idea what they're doing and you don't even really know any of the details. You don't have to listen to real estate agents who've never invested or don't understand how to invest. Most agents have no idea how flips work or how rental properties work. I think less than 50% of agents even own their own house. So there's some great agents out there. I'm one myself, but not all of them. In fact, most of them don't know about investing. So make sure you're really listening to people who know what they're doing, who've been successful, and can show you the right way to do it. Don't get discouraged by the people who tell you it's a horrible investment, you'll lose money. I mean, it's sad to say, but some of those people don't want to see others succeed either. You know, some of them might be scared to invest themselves. They want to do something better with their lives, but they weren't willing to take any risks. And so they try and stop other people from doing it because they don't want to see them succeed. And then also like, oh man, they did it. I could probably do it too if I tried, but I don't really want to try. So I'll just keep telling them not to do it. So remember, it's a good business to be in. You can make a lot of money doing it. Listen to the right people and you will do just fine. All right. Thanks for watching. I appreciate everyone. If you give us a thumbs up, appreciate it. If you have any comments, leave them below. I'll try and help you out and reply if I can. And we're almost at 30,000 subscribers now. So thank you very much for all of you out there. Appreciate it. And we'll have more videos soon.